What's up? Welcome back to Chosen Earth Angel Queen channel, where I'm back with another message. Today we're going to talk about life and death experiences. A lot of people may wonder why I have so much faith, why I'm just over the top with my faith, over the top believing in God, trusting in God. And I gave a message a week or two ago, and it was like, too much is given, much is required. But the title of it was, they can't walk in your shoes. A lot of people want what you have, but they can't walk in your shoes. If, for example, they can't experience some of the things that you experienced. In order for me to have this type of out of sight faith, I had it in me, but it was more amplified when I had a life or death experience. I had a life and death experience, and I want to say that this experience, I'm so grateful to God to still be here today, to be able to have every limb, every finger, every part of my body still here. I am so glad to be able to have that. And I'm so thankful to God. And I'm just so happy that I'm able to even speak today and give this message and give this story of this life or death experience. This is some new information. I have never given this information out on this channel. I'm excited to, I don't want to say excited, y'all, but I'm ready to deliver the message. I'm ready to deliver it. Okay. So I want to talk about this life or death experience because this is, I thought about it and I said, well, wow, this is what really has my faith in God. Like, it can never, ever be moved because of this life or death experience. And people who've gone through these type of experiences, I feel like there's a certain resonance that I share with people who may have experienced a moment in time where they could have died, but they know that God saved them. And I feel like people with that experience, that experience, even though it could be hurtful, painful, you could lose something, but the experience itself gives you an immaculate faith in God. Because if God can bring you out of a situation where it's life or death, where the doctors are saying this, it has to be death. It has to be, you can't be here. It has to be, when that's all you hear, and God, and something inside of you don't want to receive that information, and God comes through and he shows you that, yes, that information is incorrect. I am God. I have the final say. You be so moved. You when you go through this, and those experiences are hard. The way that you can learn that type of faith, those experiences are hard. A lot of people ain't going to be able to go through that. A lot of what I experienced, it would have killed somebody. It would have broke somebody. Okay, so God gives his toughest battles to his strongest warriors, and he puts people through these experiences. And at the time, I thought it was the worst thing that could happen to me. And I was so embarrassed. I felt so guilty. I felt like it was all my fault. I felt ostracized. I felt overlooked. I felt every freaking negative way that I could feel. But I still was grateful that God had me, and I was still alive and I was still present on this earth. But I felt a type of way, and I had to. Eventually, as I healed, I started to see that it wasn't my fault. I took so much. I was so hard on myself, but over time, I realized everybody played a part in it, and I was mistreated unfairly to some extent. And I realized too that if it wouldn't been for that incident, I would never be where I'm at today. Something so horrible. If it wouldn't have been for that horrific experience and actually having my life saved, I would not have the amount of faith that I have now. I would not be who I am today, because I would have been asking God for little things. I think that's what really made me start thinking big. Like, you know what, God, if you can make sure that I'm still alive, that's a lot more things that you can do, isn't it? Like, you know what? So let me get into this story, y'all. If y'all still here, if y'all still tapped in, make sure y'all hit the like button. So one night, I first of all, I'm a single mother at the time of 3 kids. I just had my youngest kid. He's 9 now. At the time, I think he wasn't even 1. And I had all the kids, and I was so excited. And you know what? I ain't finna go into every detail of this damn story. So I'm saying don't even go into every single detail. Let me just tell y'all this. Let me just tell y'all this, because I don't believe that I have to, in order to sell myself, I have to tell every detail about me, because I attract and I don't chase, period. But I can tell you the greatest details. I was walking across the street. As I was walking across the street, I was struck by a car. I almost made it to the end of across the street. And I got hit. And when I got hit, I flew in the air. This is from witness recollections. I flew in the air and landed in the gutter. And I remember I had these LeBron James and lime green and pink sneakers on that he had. I don't remember the name of those shoes, but they were some nice shoes. And I remember they got witness, they were saying, that's all I've seen is those lime green and pink shoes in the gutter. Like, I literally flew in the air into the gutter that from the impact of this vehicle, of a whole car crushing my body. I don't remember being hit. I kind of remember like putting up my hands trying to tell the car to stop, but I was struck instantly, and then I was out. But I do remember before the ambulance got there that I woke up, and then when I woke up, I watched the paramedics put me inside the ambulance, and they were saying, ma'am, everything is broken. Your arm broken, your leg broken, everything is broken, ma'am. You're all broken. You have all these broken body parts. Your shoulder, your arm, everything's broken. You're sick, ma'am. You're horrible. Like, they didn't say the words horrible, but they did mention that everything was broken. And I started rebuking them immediately. As soon as I hit the ground and woke up, let me tell you something. I was in I was with the angels at that point. I was not quite here on this earth, but I remember just rebuking them, going in and out of consciousness and out of consciousness. But every time they would say, ma'am, this is broken, that's broken, I would be like, I rebuke you. That is not the truth. There's nothing broken on me. There's nothing broken. I just was speaking over my life. I don't know what inside me at that moment made me speak this stuff over my life. I said, I am not, nothing is broken with me. I am okay. There is nothing broken on me. I am all right. I'm okay. I am all right. I'm okay. I'm all right. I just kept saying and saying, and they finally put me under some anesthesia. And then I woke up, and when I woke up for the first 2-3 weeks, those doctors, the hospital that I was at, they weren't so favorable. Every time somebody would come in there, they really just kept giving me bad news. No doctor would tell me when I could go home, and they just kept giving me bad news after bad news after bad news. You can't go. They had me they had a chest tube in my body. Let me see if I still have the scars, so maybe y'all can see right here. I think this is I'm not trying to show any, I shouldn't be banned for trying to show this area or nothing like that, because it's not nudity. I'm just trying to show a wound. If you see those little circles there, that's where the chest tube was at, okay? So I had this chest tube in me, and I think they actually put me in a bed. Like the way, like the devil was trying to take me out. Like the dark, when I say devil, y'all, I don't necessarily mean like the devil that we see with the red guy with the horn ears. That is a physical depiction of an image of the darker energy. But when and I just reference it when I say devil, but when I say devil, I literally mean just any type of negative energy. And I mean that I feel like we all have demons and devils in us, you understand? But it's like, how do you have yours under control? How much of what do you have? It's only a thin line. Either you might have a demons and angel and the positive energy and the angels and demons in you, or you might have a mix. But which one is more powerful? And ain't no riding the fence. Anyway, that's another video. We're gonna tap back into that another time. So I just felt like these people, there was a darker force trying to take over me immediately once I got hit, and I had to keep reclaiming over my life that I was alive. The hospital staff, they kept telling me how I wasn't going home, that I wasn't getting any better, and all this other extra stuff. And I remember them moving me into another. Like, first I was in one location of the hospital, they ended up moving me into another location of the hospital, and it smelled so bad. I believe they put me in a bed where someone else had died. I even recall hearing a nurse ask them, why did you put her in that bed? I remember I could hear that it was certain things that the Spirit of God would allow me to hear. And there were certain moments that I would be in the Spirit. And I was just getting these visions. This whole time that I was in there, I was getting these visions over my life, visions over how I can manifest, how things could be better. And I felt bad for getting hit by the car because I felt like I was at the wrong spot at the wrong time, and I shouldn't have been there, and I shouldn't have, I felt like all these responsibilities, and I had to think that it's not my fault. This person could have seen me. Like, I had to look at it from a different perspective. But at the time, I was so down, and God was just showing me these visions. I was like, and God was just letting me know, like, you can have whatever it is that your heart desires. Like, God was really putting me in position and speaking to me and giving these visions of me being happy. And then I would get back into the reality of the world, and I was dealing with my issues, from the hospital. I was in a toxic relationship at the time. That when I was talking about in these messages, I was explaining to you, about that toxic relationship. And what catapulted me out of the toxic relationship was when I got into the car accident. Immediately when I got out, I had to get out that relationship. That car accident changed my life because I appreciated life so much more. So let me fast forward. Before I go back into that, they put me in that dead bed, that death bed. They put me in some dirty, stinky hospital bed, and it smells like death. And I was going in and out of consciousness. And then they sent another doctor. I kept getting, white doctors. And they sent the black man in there because they was saying, "Are you going to go home next week? You going to go home next week?" They kept sending the black guy in there because he needed to talk me into staying longer or something. I don't know why they sent him in there. I never had seen him. He was like, "Yeah, you're going to go home." And he came back in like maybe 4 days, and he tried to say I had to stay longer. Baby, you know what I did? I said, "Oh, hell no, I'm getting up out this hospital." I had the strength of God. The strength of God. I checked myself out of that damn hospital, called my mom. I was like, and remind you, people in my family, nobody was coming. The reason why I probably was mistreated was a different story. I ain't gonna go into all those details. Listen, so I get to the other hospital. When I get to the other hospital, Kaiser Permanente in California. When I get to Kaiser, I was way much better. They took care of me. I healed. I was in that hospital maybe 4 weeks. I was ready to go back home, and I had nothing but fractures. I could still walk. I could still talk. I had maybe a stitch by my eyebrow, my stitch by my lip, and I was perfectly fine. I was back, baby. I was ready to move and shake. I had to, wait for my fractures to heal. I kind of walked with some stretch, some what do they call those things? Crutches, for a little while, and then I ended up back to normal. But I wasn't back to normal because this was the rebirth of me. This was me appreciating life. Like when this happened, like all the things that I wanted to do, that I wanted to take serious before that life or death experience, I started to do. That's when I started reading the tarot. That's when I started reaching out to the community. And I started joining book clubs that the community was involved in, listening to radio shows that the community was involved in. And when I say the community, I mean like people of Queen Afua, of that nature. It was this beautiful life coach that I was able to meet, Miss Michelle Renee. And I met her through a very beautiful sister, Kateria Knowles. I knew people and I seen them, and I seen that they were so in tune with self, and they were so, on this level. And I was just busy hustling. I'm not owning the power of being a Black woman, of the power of, being divine, the power of God, I wasn't owning it. So, but I had met these people prior to the life or death incident. And then once that happened, I started joining the community and I started learning more about myself, and the rest is history. Everything that I was trying to do, I took it way more serious, and I applied those universal laws. And here I am today, continue to improve and apply and build and nurture and grow and create, etc., and reap and reap and reap. But that's what happened. That was a life or death experience. And that is a way, the most cleverest way that the universe can change someone's life, with those life or death experiences. Sometimes we go through total catastrophes and we don't understand why, when, where, and it's the most horriblest thing. But when you can look back in life and in hindsight, you'll be so grateful for those tragic moments. Because if it wasn't for that tragic moment, I would not be who I am today. I would have still been stuck. And then I can look back and say there's a lot of people who would have died at that first hospital. There's a lot of people who would have held up the way I held up. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to survive that. That was something to survive, okay? And when I remember when I got to the other hospital, they couldn't believe it. They couldn't fathom how I was able to check myself out of there and be able to make it a 3-hour drive, really longer than that, because I had to wait for them to come get me. So I was literally out the hospital for maybe a day, at least 24 hours. They couldn't believe it. Like, I was so messed up and so sick, and they couldn't believe that I was even able to move from there to there on my own. And I had to. When I say I was in so much pain, but I had to get up out that hospital. They were trying to kill me there. They were not concerned about my life. They was like, they would put a ticket on me. They about to take my organs, Lord knows. And somebody would have took my brain. Oh no, they would have took my brain. Oh my God, I hope they would have paid top dollar for this brain. I'm just kidding. But this brain, oh my goodness, they was about to take every goddamn piece. And if they could afford to donate to anybody, baby, these pieces and body parts was going for sale, all right? And that's a crazy world we live in. That's a whole nother video. We ain't even gonna go there. Anyway, if y'all like the message, make sure that y'all like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for rocking out with me. If y'all made it to the end, hit the freaking heart, hit the thumbs up. This is gonna be downloaded on multiple platforms, so you'll be hearing me interchanging what to do to like the post, or like the video, like the footage that you see. Anyway, thanks for tapping in, y'all. I love y'all. Peace, love, and light. Bye.